Okay. I think we are good to. Well, hey everybody, how's it going? It is K the Diesel Freak, the most hated Ohio State fan on the planet, back again with another stream. This time it's on a Wednesday, and I figured, well, I didn't do Tuesday, so I figured I'd do it today since I got some extra time and I'm home taking care of a family member. So, if you would do me a favor, click the like button, smash the like button, subscribe. You don't want to miss out on any more news I break or anything else, anything from news to ag to anything else. Specifically college football, too, and college basketball right now since March Madness is going on. I dropped the StreamYard link, so in the description of the video and also in the chat. So anybody wants to come on in and say hello, they can. So let me start off with the March Madness. So somebody was asking me about March Madness to me, and I said, well, I've honestly got Ohio State winning the March Madness tournament. Now, I mean, so far the men's team is looking a lot better, but the women's team especially is really killing it. Now, I know Houston and everybody else in the ACC and the SEC, there's some good ones out there, but I feel like Ohio State is going to take it home. I mean, with Bruce Horton on the men's team and the girls' team, with some of the freshmen, man, I'm telling you, it's really going to look good for them, but also it's good on coach's resume. So I feel like that's where I'm at for March Madness. If you did not catch Tuesday night, I crashed Jackson Johnson and Jeffrey from Holy Talk Sports Party for March Madness with Will and D. Yeah, I don't know why those guys are even talking about. And then starting off with the fact that uh, what in the heck their name? But just sometimes I don't even understand what. I do not. And help me out here. Um, I have no exact clue of why. But you know what? Particularly for me, it's always going to be either the outcome of March Madness, which that seems like it always is, but it is always it seems to not favor in somebody's fair. But that could just be me, but that's just how I feel. I don't know how everybody else feels. Y'all let me know what's going on. And that's what this show is also. You guys can hang out with me here, talk, and if you want to go back and forth with me, by God, that's fine by me. I'll take anybody on. Like truth be told, I'll take anybody on here. And yeah, my comments made to Jackson Jeffrey last night. I didn't stutter when I said any of them. They were particularly just like, "How dare you?" Um, just a lot of yeah, a lot of it. So, but I mean, particularly that's just but listen, I've been called a moron more times than I think, but let me know. And then to point out something early, and this is something my buddy Mullen, if you guys didn't see Monday afternoon, Mullen and I were talking. Mullen from the College Football Mafia. By the way, please subscribe to the College Football Mafia. That's also a great YouTube channel and somebody that I respect as an Ohio State fan, but someone who, yeah, him and I can at least agree on things that but like I said, subscribe to Mullen and the College Football Mafia. I'll always shout them out because they're awesome. And our conversations are always awesome. Nate, Professor you, Rock and Rant, Mullen, myself. I mean, it's pretty good. Um, but the complete thing is that but it's just like I don't know. You guys can tell me otherwise. We've got Nate DeGray in the building. How you doing, sir? Good to see you. The chat is open, but also the call in line is open. That is that StreamYard link to hang in here and say what's up. But appreciate you, Nate. Nate DeGray. That is a Nebraska Cornhuskers fan. And yeah, I own Ohio State owns the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Sorry, Nate, but that's just the fact. Um, but I'm gonna be completely honest, folks. It's just sometimes when you see some of these people post a lot of things on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or uh, on social media, it's just insane. Like, I don't know if it's just me that thinks sometimes people post stuff that's just nuts, but like I said, y'all can tell me otherwise. That's why I have the call link. I will I will show that off again so everybody knows that it's free to come on in, no charge. And then somebody brought this up to my attention. They said, "Hey, Caden, do you know do you know what's up with what the heck is it called? Is Illinois a historical rivalry or is it a rivalry?" I'm gonna say honestly, it's a rivalry. To be completely fair, because and I could be called crazy for it, but to me, it's not a historic rivalry. It's more of just a rivalry, like just a standard rivalry. However, if you want to talk a historic rivalry, it's Ohio State, Michigan, or Alabama, Auburn, or Texas A&M. That's where I'm at. Um, but by the way, Nate, you are welcome to come on here. I had VicTube on here not that long ago, so I'm just chilling out here. But I will say, other Buckeye fans will not agree with me, but that's fine. Sometimes they can just be a little stupid, or just straight up dumbfounded. Um, I've had heated conversations with fellow well, I wouldn't say fellow Buckeye fans, but Buckeye fans, and Jeez, I'm telling you, I don't know how many times I've argued with other Buckeye fans on this planet. Uh, it's ridiculous. Um, yeah, the OHL podcast and I are bitter rivals, but that's only because we disagree on things, but also they didn't like the way I was talking about other teams that we've beaten, that their fan bases can keep yapping. Yeah, it's funny, like Moen said, it's funny. But at the same time, it never ends well for them, or it's an unlikely percentage that it might end well for them, but that's a whole nother can of worms to open up that I won't get into. that I guess you could say it really has its some advantages and disadvantages. Um, Jeez, I'm trying to think of what else I was going to say today. The other thing is that I will say this: Jackson Johnson, for I don't know what reason, just I don't get why the guy just is telling other Alabama fans like, "Oh, it's gonna be all right. Like it's gonna be absolutely fine." Like I told Jackson Johnson several times that it never ends well for any Alabama fan. Never. Now, Alabama fans can say, "Oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, blah 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 blah." But here's my issue. Here's my issue, folks. Like, is there is there a is there a restriction for anybody that um I don't know. You guys can let me know on that. But speaking of, we've got somebody incoming. Let me see who it is. Oh, speaking of the devil, as they say, we've got the Nebraska fan himself, Nate DeGroot. Nate, how we doing, sir?
Good, how are you?
I
Good,
can't
how
hear
are
you,
you?
sir. Nate, are you good, sir?
Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just wondering if you can hear me. I don't know if his audio's not coming out right or something. It must be plane turbulence or something.
Yeah,
Oh, you're on a plane.
yeah.
So what's going on? What's on your mind today, sir?
Well, I'll try to speak loud like King, but I just, just talk caution.
So what's on your mind today, buddy? This is why I always hold these shows.
Yeah, just to talk about football. Um, see, I'm trying to think what to talk about.
Well, March Madness is pretty much pretty much a mud hole and a death trap.
True.
And as far as college football, like for me, it's everybody's going. is there everybody's going through spring camp and boot camp. So I mean, with Ohio State and what I know, and from my sources, it sounds pretty good. It sounds like our team's getting back to the way that we were running things in Columbus, but also strengthening up our defense and strengthening up our offense.
Yeah, yeah. I still don't. I still know what to expect from my team. Well, I mean, except for losing. But
No, I get what you're saying there.
I mean, they lost for Raiola. That wasn't the problem. It was the O line was the problem. And didn't do anything to protect Raiola. Now he's on Oregon. He's probably going to be Heisman before any Nebraska team. So,
No, I get what you're saying.
it's just I try to explain to some residents that it's right all it's fault. But no, it's the O line and the O defensive line coach.
No, I get what you're saying there, Nate. But also, here's the other thing, Nate. With everything else, I will say this. However, college football, like right now, has got some good stuff going, but also sometimes it can just be a little ridiculous with all
Yeah,
like the BS and whatnot and etc. But that's just me.
the reason why I was a Michigan fan beforehand because my dad was a Michigan. Well, actually, he is a Michigan fan, so that's why I was a Michigan fan for a little bit. So, well, I mean, I just need Nebraska fan.
Well, if you need it, Nate, if you're having audio trouble on the plane, you can jump on afterward.
Well, the thing is, what? Well, how many hours are you be on?
Oh, I'm gonna be on here for a while, and then I'm gonna be back for the late night for the late
Oh,
show. So,
what time is that?
uh, that is 6 p.m. EST.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Eastern Standard Time.
So 5 is Central Place.
5 Central Time. Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good.
I'll catch you later, sir.
All right, see you later.
That was Nate DeGreat. I appreciate Nate. I'm gonna be back later live 6 p.m. EST at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to answer the rest of your questions and in regards to everything else. But here's my other thing, folks. And hey, you're welcome to comment as much as you need to. So let me ask, and I said this to several college football fans in particular. There's sometimes I have trouble understanding why the fan bases of these specific teams, Alabama, Notre Lame, can Nebraska win something in the Big Ten? If they can get through a coaching overhaul and at least a little bit of a team overhaul, yeah, they could have won something big, but it's unlikely unless they do like a serious coaching change or a trying to think of what I'm. But that's my opinion, Nate, but I could be wrong. But there's the other things you got to take into consideration, too. They should have fired Bo Peloni in 2014. No. Bo Peloni, that's the reason why Nebraska was elite, was because of Bo Peloni. So, but firing him in 2014 was just absolutely just disgraceful. But yeah, Nate, I completely understand where you're coming from there, but um but let me point this out to everybody. I will say, however, on my end, usually if it's a coaching fire, and what this one was, yeah, it was what I thought it was, and then so there's another thing that you guys you can let me know also on. But sometimes I just can't understand how, and I'll point this out to you guys. There was Nebraska wanted a nice coach to wanted a nice off Nebraska wanted a nice coach to coach Nebraska, and how that turned out. You know what, Nate? You made a great point there. I mean, firing Bo Peloni with the other coach, that was just a bad decision on their end. But also, that kind of just screwed up the program completely on their end. But I want to get to something that I looked through on my YouTube channel. By the way, you guys can check the channel out. There is a particular episode of a Friday show that I did a while back. I don't know if I'm able to access it, or that video's been deleted. No, that's this one. Hold on, I'm trying to figure it out. There is a particular episode of the Friday show that I host, and sure enough, I'm exposing I expose all the worst fans in all college football. You know, this is an episode I do. That I did, but I exposed this particular person and this particular and I particularly this particular episode. On that particular episode, I'm going to make sure you guys at least know. So if you want to tag these people, you can. That's Jackson Johnson and Jeffrey of the Alabama channel, which, by the way, I'm telling you, these guys are more delusional, stupid, dumb, and just absolute straight up more stupid than they look and sound. Just being honest for you folks. Now, is it the worst? Yes. But you can tell me otherwise. So hold on here, folks. I'm trying to find it. Now, I need you guys, now don't judge, but these guys are the absolute worst. Roll.
Responded to a comment you made about the Owl House and somehow turned it into Bama. Oh, okay, getting killed again. Which again, y'all remember the Bama meat? The Bama meat. Where's the Bama meat? Okay, oh, yeah. I'm failing. All Alabama's doing is feasting. I'm failing to understand here.
And in that particular comment, I will say this. The only reason I made that specific comment was because of the way that they said it at the same time. But on the other hand, it was just because let me put it this way to you. Do you know, like, the big nerdy lunatic fans of High School Musical that your neighbor calls on when they play the High School Musicals stupid note music all the time over the radio? It's like, God almighty, can they stop? Yeah, that's how bad Alabama fans are, especially with their whole spiel of BS, which you guys can decide for that.
So here's my evidence right here. Damn, dude, you ain't got nothing better to do. You ain't got nothing better to do.
And let me just say this, Jackson Johnson put that wrong. When I saw that comment, I literally said, ding, ding. You know that your fan base are just as literally annoying, let alone obnoxious, as Walt Disney World fans. And literally, I would call them a nuisance, to be completely honest with you folks. Wrong screen.
I mean, dude, like what? Like what?
Oh my god.
I mean, he
Oh
sent
my
me a whole video,
The
Jack.
only
They probably
reason they're laughing
sent me a
so
whole
much
video.
is because they thought I was being stupid and saying something stupid, but really, I was just pointing out a fact of comparison, to be specific. But you know what? The dummies can laugh, but at the same time, um, but that's just how bad these guys are. Literally, that's how terrible. So Big Ten and everybody else, please avoid these guys. Oh my God, it's awful. Avoid these guys. I mean, you can go check out their individual channels, Jackson Johnson and Only Talk Sports, etc. But avoid. I need to avoid unless you like drinking whiskey with Alabama fans and you're that crazy. Like, I'm just telling you as a forewarning.
Of him talk, Alabama and Ole Miss, it's over. Whatever, he's on it.
He's
what,
tagging me and you and Leanne and
Leanne and Richie. Oh man, Richie, dude, look at this guy, man.
Well, because and let me clarify this. Hold on. So when I call out somebody on Twitter, by the way, you can follow me on Twitter at Kane the Diesel Freak. It's usually when I call them out for something delusional that they listen to because of other Ole Miss, Alabama. You have to get the SEC's most delusional fan bases are Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Alabama, and Tennessee fans, along with Kentucky and the rest of it. But mine is one particular team, the University of Georgia fans. Now, Georgia fans, I have a lot more respect for than these pussycats. Because Georgia fans actually know what they're actually doing and what they're saying. So give credit to Georgia fans. But I'm going to let you guys be the judge of that. Tell me otherwise. Roll tape.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, he deserves it. I don't even care. I'm usually not like this, man. But I don't even care. He deserves this, man. He deserves. I gotta pull this dude up, man. like this guy. Look at this guy, man. Here he is. I want to apologize.
Like, for this video, and let me just say this. And this was before the play. This is before Ohio State was eliminated from the Big Ten championship and had the one loss. But it's quoted with, I want to apologize when Ohio State kicks Alabama and Ole Miss. Like, that was because, let me first say that Ohio State is a better team than Alabama and Ole Miss, by all means, strongly. And Ohio State's defense would have easily knocked them out of the playoffs and Ole Miss out of the playoffs last season if we didn't lose to Indiana. But that's just my 2 cents. But I'll be back live tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 5 Central, 4 that's 4 Pacific time. So I will be back, and as always, take care, take it easy, and I'll see you guys next time.